Alright, here we go. Another good day. This is Monday. I'm getting started here. This is going to be the first vlog with the new camera. I'm actually leaving the house with only the new camera. This is the R700 from Canon, and I've been very happy with it so far. And I'm leaving the GoPro at home on purpose. Normally I would be taking it out with me, but I want to make sure that every bit of footage from this vlog is from this new camera so that everybody can... Here's some birds fighting. You can film them. There we go. There they are. Okay. I don't know why they're fighting, but that is just one example of why I wanted this camera, because it has a zoom, whereas the GoPro does not, so that I can film wildlife while I'm out there cutting grass. It's one of the things that I like. Of course, the wildlife doesn't always cooperate. But anyway, I want to start today with a shout out. Shout out today goes to Cut and Clean Lawn Care. That's Andy, and he has got one of the best channels in a long time. He is funny. He's good at what he's doing. He films well. He edits well. He doesn't need a shout out. Actually, he's going to be big. He's going to be big all by himself. But I'm going to leave the link to his channel down in the description. Definitely a channel you want to check out. Anyway, I'm going to get started here with this classic walk out to the truck. With the GoPro, this is usually super shaky, and I just have this camera in my hand. I don't have it on a selfie stick or a tripod or anything. So let's see how this goes. Gotta say, quite a bit better. That was another reason why I wanted this camera, is because it has the image stabilization. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry it's going to be a lot of kind of camera testing on this, but I got 2 yards I need to do, one that you've definitely seen before, and one that is a field that I filmed a long time ago, but I don't think anybody's going to remember it. The reason why I've got just 2 yards on schedule for today, and they are both kind of a little bit sandy and definitely both bahia. The reason is my blades are dull right now, and I don't want to take the mower into a good yard. At the same time, I don't want to sharpen it and take it into these kind of sandy yards. So I want to use up the dull blades on these. I'm sure you all have done this, is when your blades are dull, you make sure you go and dull them out as far as they're going to go with your crummy yards before you go sharpen and take them back into your nice yards. So let's go on down the street and get to the first yard and start filming. Okay, so you all know this yard. This is the one I just did the spring cleanup on. And also, a long time ago, I did it with long, tall grass. And I'll put the link to those 2 videos because they're associated with this yard. The one where it's really tall, you got to see that one. That was quite different from what you see here today. But I am going to be filming this one, and this is an example right here. Like, for example, why I want a zoom capability. So to mow down all these flowers over here, it'd be neat to get a head-on shot, like straight into the chute. But now to do that with a GoPro, you pretty much have to put the camera like right here, and that's dangerously close. But with a zoom, I mean, you can put the camera way over there and aim it towards there and zoom in on it. So that is definitely one of the shots I'm looking to get today. And otherwise, yeah, this is a bit sandy, this yard. And we got all these pine cones again, but like way over there we got all this sand. It's one of the reasons why I don't want to take sharp blades into here, because it'll kind of ruin them. You know, I had a customer one time that thought that the sand sharpened the blades, so he was very proud of his sandy yard, that he was doing me a favor. But he was wrong. I had to explain it to him. But yeah, also I do not have the external microphone on here. This it turned out to be very, very poor quality external microphone, and I was noticing that the internal microphones are much better. And so I don't know what's going to happen with wind noise today. It seems to have a kind of a circuit in there that filters that out a bit, but I'll review that. We'll be doing a lot of testing today. But ultimately, I think I'm just going to kind of put some cotton on the cameras, like right there. The wind is kicking up. But I'll probably just put cotton on the microphones on the camera itself, or just a little bit of foam rubber to settle that. Okay, so let me get started. Okay, so when I say the blades are dull, you're probably imagining all kinds of stuff, so let me show you. They never get super dull. This is what we're talking about. So, you know, definitely dull to the point where it's not going to be cutting extremely clean. But not something where you couldn't go into a bahia yard. And so I will mow these kind of crummy yards here with the bahia in the field, and then we'll sharpen it up, because that would be just dull enough that you wouldn't want to take it into St. Augustine. Also noticing I got stuff wrapped all around. I better get that off before I even get started. Anyway, I'm gonna try to start with that shot I was talking about with those flowers over there. Okay, so now I've got the camera on the tripod, using it as a selfie stick, so I can really, you know, really make you dizzy. But, so I'm going to use the weed eater a little bit here for these flowers and see how well that films. Over here we've got a, hey, I don't have to walk over there, I can just do this. That's called lantana. It'll be a little bit tough. We'll see what the weed eater does with it. Alrighty. Alright, there it is all done. Sorry if that was a little unusual. Camera angles were a bit unusual, possibly boring. I just had to test out some angles and theories, and I want to see them in the editor. But there's a chance I used all those angles, and so that's why I'm saying that. Sorry if it was a little unusual. Just had to figure some stuff out. Anyway, that takes care of this one. And so we just got to go mow that field. Okay, so coming down the street here, I've got a vacant lot I do up here, and I'm in charge of when to do it. And I've noticed that all the other vacant lots around here have been mowed, so I had better do it. Because they do get tagged sometimes by code enforcement, but now the tagging will only happen if one of the locals calls code enforcement. Problem being, quite often they do. And so when all the other fields are mowed, like I see here, I generally come over here and mow it. And that's what I go by. But this will be a good test for the camera, because it's going to be a long run, I think about 15 minutes. And I'll have the camera out in full sunlight, and we'll see if it overheats. So let's do it. Okay, camera did not overheat. And gosh, you know, this is something that I always run into. Look how good this field looks. No irrigation, no fertilizer. And I've got stripes. I can't get my good yards to stripe. You know, that's something I've seen quite a bit. Is it the natural grass fields always look the best. And that's in April. Wait till this stuff really starts growing. Okay, so I guess that's going to wrap it up for this one. I have no idea when the next vlog is going to be, but I appreciate you watching, and everybody have a good one.